Hi guys, welcome back to Cee The Counsellor. So today I bring you guys a collection of psychological movies / psychological thrillers which I think you will thoroughly love, and I will probably do a part 2 to this video. But before we begin, I would please kindly ask you to subscribe, to like, and to leave a comment as to which movies you think you're gonna watch or which ones you've already watched and which ones you recommend that I haven't mentioned. So let's get started with film number 1. So I'm not gonna give too much away about each film because obviously if you want to watch them I don't want to ruin it for you. But the first film is Split, which features a guy called Kevin who has dissociative identity disorder, and he's got 23 alter egos / personalities living in him, and he kidnaps 3 girls, and while he's holding these girls hostage they're trying to escape to avoid meeting his 24th personality, which is also starting to appear and become real. So yes, it's very interesting in the sense that I guess you learn a bit about dissociative identity disorder. Obviously this is on a very large scale, on a very extreme scale, but I don't know much about it either myself. But it's interesting if you're interested in personality and understanding personality a bit more. So, and this one was in cinemas. This was in cinemas a few years ago and it was really good. I think it's on Netflix. I don't know. I think most of the movies I'm gonna mention are on Netflix, but I don't know if they still are because Netflix removes stuff and adds stuff a lot. So yeah. The next movie is called To The Bone, which is a very sensitive topic because it's about anorexia nervosa, and it features a girl who is in a rehabilitation center to help her get healthy again, and you see very much what her day-to-day life is like with her relationship with food, and you can see it very closely and how it affects those around her as well. I don't know much about anorexia nervosa myself, but watching that film really gave me, I guess, an insight into something that you don't get to see very often. It may be very sensitive for some of you to watch, so I probably wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but if it's something that maybe captures your eye, then yeah, I would recommend that. That is also on Netflix. So the third movie is called The Woman in the Window, and it's about a woman, I think apparently she's like a psychologist or something, and she suffers from agoraphobia and depression and I think anxiety as well, and panic attacks. And so she's on medication, she's at home alone a lot, and she witnesses a crime, and then that crime takes a toll on her mindset, and your mind really does get messed about. I mean, a lot of the movies will play with your mind because it's a very much like keeps you guessing, but that's one of the very interesting things about it because you're obviously still trying to figure out like what's going on, and for some reason I can't remember the ending to a lot of these films. The next one is Gone Girl, and I think a lot of people have watched Gone Girl. If you haven't watched Gone Girl, you will like it. Whether you like psychological films or not, you will like Gone Girl. And that one really takes you through it all. You go through a range of emotions just as you do with most of these films, and yeah, that one is very interesting. It's very twisted. It's one of those where like you're not sure who the villain and who the good person is and the bad person is, and you constantly keep switching, and yeah, it keeps you on the edge of your seat for sure. Now number 5 is The Perfection, which is on Netflix as well. I remember when this first came out, I watched it as soon as it came out on Netflix. And if you're not into creepy crawlies, or you get the ick when you like see creepy crawlies and bugs on the screen, I don't recommend this for you at all. I do not recommend this film for you because you will probably just like feel like there's things crawling all over your skin. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't really know how to describe the storyline, but I think there's a revenge element to it between the 2 girls, the main character and the girl that's like with her. But yeah, I don't remember the ending to that one either, so yeah, but it's a good watch. It's a good watch. It's kind of a bit, yeah, it's not dark, but I'd say like it's very graphic in terms of like seeing moving things and like blood and stuff, but it's not something I'd say is scary. It's just a bit like gory. There's too many bugs and blood. Next we've got Hypnotic. I love a good movie about counselors and therapists. I love watching movies like that, and this one is about a hypnotherapist who takes advantage of his clients, and obviously the main character gets taken advantage of by him, and you kind of get to see it play out and how he does what he does. And I don't remember if it explains why he does what he does, but it also exposes you to hypnotherapy because I've never seen it. I've never done it. I've never been interested in trying it, and after watching this film, I'm never ever going to see hypnotherapist ever. Not that I ever wanted to, but this movie will definitely put you off hypnotherapy. But yeah, it's very, very interesting, and I'm not gonna lie, when he was doing his hypnotism, I was like looking away from the screen because I was like, I don't want to get hypnotized, you know. Even though I don't think it would work, but you never know. So I got number 7, which is Shutter Island, featuring Leonardo DiCaprio, and this is like really interesting. So it's about 2 men who, I think they're detectives, who go to an asylum to investigate a missing patient at the asylum, and then everything kind of goes sideways and they end up not being able to leave, and that's the interesting part. Definitely keeps you guessing, definitely makes you wonder like what in the hell's going on, which a lot of the movies do, but this one I would definitely rate it like a 8.5 or 9 out of 10 because it just plays with your mind so much and it's just like whoa. Yeah. Okay, number 8 is Brain on Fire, and I love this one mainly because it's based on a true story. I love a movie based on a true story, and it's about a journalist who started experiencing very strange symptoms, and she went to like lots and lots of doctors and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her, and I guess it was described like her brain was on fire, and eventually they figured out what it was. I have to look at the screen to read this out because I can't remember. It was called anti-NDMAR encephalitis. That's what it was that she had. And then I don't know if she was ever cured or whatever, but they figured out what it was and they diagnosed her, and the movie just obviously gives you an insight into what it's like and the symptoms that she experienced and stuff like that. So I like a movie that kind of teaches you something new that you never knew before, especially when it's like something psychological or like a disease or a diagnosis that you've never heard of. So yeah, it was a really good watch, and obviously it being based on a true story, for me I'd definitely give that movie like a solid 8.5 out of 10. Number 9, we've got Secret Window, which features Johnny Depp as a writer, and he's accused of plagiarizing a book, and the person that's accusing him of plagiarizing his book comes and basically stalks him, and it takes a turn for the worse. And it gets very gruesome and it becomes very like dark very quickly, like over a book, like seriously. But yeah, it's interesting though because obviously you start realizing that some things are not adding up and it messes with like your mind in terms of like the timeline of things. And I think, I'm not gonna give too much away actually, but I think it was good. Let's leave it there. And obviously I'd probably recommend watching the trailer, but that one is not too gruesome. It's not as bad as The Perfection. I'd say The Perfection is a lot worse in terms of like gruesome details and stuff, but this one is yeah, you can definitely watch this one and enjoy it. Yeah. So number 10, we've got Rebecca, which is quite dark. Like literally the movie is very dark, literally like the setting is very dark, but then the storyline also gets dark later on as well. And it's about a new wife, Rebecca, and she's like in the shadow of like the ex-wife who died. She finds out that there was more to the ex-wife's death than is being told, and when she discovers it, then yeah, the movie's just like oopsie daisy, you shouldn't have opened Pandora's box. Because yeah, but the ending is very interesting. It's quite surprising, as most psychological films are, but yeah, I definitely recommend that one. I'd give it probably like a 7 out of 10, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. So only because I think it was a bit slow in the start and it didn't build up until like towards the end. Yeah. Number 11, we've got The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is also on Netflix. I had to watch this movie twice. That's how much it played with my mind. I googled like explanations for this film because I still don't get it. So if you do watch this one, please explain it to me in the comments, because I still can't get my head around it. I think this one has like very vague explanations, like there's not much, there's nothing concrete, you kind of make your own meaning out of it, and I don't really like movies like that, but it was interesting enough for me to be like, whoa, what is going on? I had to watch it again to see if I missed anything, but yeah, I just didn't get it. I feel like the whole movie went over my head. But yeah, it's like it follows a boy who then meets somebody and that like starts to train him and teach him, and he then starts acting weird, and then his family's confused as to why he's acting the way he is, and then it kind of gets his whole family in trouble as well. It's very, very strange, but yeah, please somebody watch it and explain it to me. Anyways, we've got number 12, which is, I don't really know if it's a psychological film, but it's quite, you know, it makes you think, it makes you wonder, it does play with your mind quite a bit. It's featuring Morgan Freeman, and I've watched it so many times. It's old as like 2001 or something, or 2004. So interesting. It's a detective who goes to find a missing girl, and he's literally chasing the kidnapper like to hell and back. Like, it's so fascinating to watch how he goes about it and how the kidnapper gets away time and time again. But it's really interesting. Just play with your mind. And number 13, we've got The Vanished, which I think was really interesting. It's about a couple who go on holiday, and then while they're on holiday, their daughter goes missing. And then at the end of the film, it just makes you think, oh, that's really sad. And then so the couple are diagnosed with something, I'm gonna write, it's in French, and I think it's like folie à dos. Yeah, I don't, so yeah, it just raises awareness for that, and it's like really fascinating. It's not based on a true story, even though it feels like it is, but it's very interesting as well that two people can have like share a disorder. It's so interesting. But I hope that hasn't ruined it for you. But for that one, I would probably rate that one a 9 out of 10 because of how interesting it is. I like movies that kind of explore a diagnosis or a condition that I've never heard of. Even ones that I've heard of, I like stuff that explores something, like it has a meaning, like for the movie, and the movie has a purpose, and I love that. It might not be interesting to everybody, but for me it was just like, whoa, like what's going on here? Like, I love a movie that makes me think and has clear answers, unlike The Killing of a Sacred Deer where it's just vague and ambiguous. I don't like movies like that. The last movie that I would highly recommend is A Simple Favor. So that one is about a woman who goes missing, and then her friend starts looking for her, and as she's looking for her, she comes across a bunch of things and discovers a lot of things about that woman, and it takes a very interesting turn when, you know, there's plot twist after plot twist after plot twist, and I love a movie with like 1,000,000 plot twists. It's so interesting. And yeah, so I can't remember the ending of that one either, surprise surprise, but yeah, it was so interesting and I loved it. I've watched it like 2 or 3 times and I still don't remember the full storyline, regardless of how many times I watch it, and I still can't remember the ending. But that brings us to the end of this video, and I will probably do a part 2 as more interesting psychological films come out. But like I said, leave a comment and let me know which ones you've watched, which one I should watch, because I love a good psychological movie. So recommend me some in the comments. And yes, I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to leave a comment. Bye.